I remember your last film. You were here when? Was that 2 years ago or?
Symphony number 42 was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
that was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Was that was the one with the rabbit shoots itself?
It's a fox.
It's a
Yeah.
fox. It's a
Yeah,
fox.
yeah.
It was very quiet in the theater. It was very quiet, and it was packed. It was the official screening. He shot himself. I laughed so hard. I don't know. I loved it. I loved that moment. I was laughing so hard. No one else was laughing.
Really?
Yeah. I fucking loved it.
No, I got the reaction. Like on other screenings, it was always like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you recording at all?
We're running.
Cool. You do remember? Do you know Momoko Seto?
Yes.
Yes.
Planet.
She was here.
All the planets she did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when we saw your film, we thought about her film as well, and thought, well, maybe you know her or you must know her.
Yeah, I just saw her new film online on the site, on a website.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Streaming
Okay.
site online, right? Mm-hmm. And then I saw her previous film years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we had to immediately think about her and a similar theme.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, of life cycle, especially with the whole space theme.
I always liked to draw when I was younger and in school and that was also like, and I also liked to draw comics, so like include a story into what I was doing. And then I kind of in high school discovered that you could learn stuff like that you could actually go to a school and like make this your everyday thing. And then I was completely madly like into this thought to start and learn how to connect a story and like film and drawing would be animation, and then that was the perfect medium for me that I was really getting excited about. And then from that point on, where I knew that I wanted to study that, I was really hypnotized by it, and I wasn't really questioning. Like I had no other like tempted to live action or anything. I really wanted to do animation always. I don't know. I mean, since high school or since I discovered this thing that I could learn this actually and then make it maybe a living. But and it's funny because now I think back and when I started to study and that I wasn't really aware of how it's like a risky thing to just, start doing basically art studies or I don't know. But then I wasn't considering this, and I'm really happy I didn't, because...
Risky in terms of?
Like making a living out of it. And it still is, and I still, because I'm a freelancer and I'm independent, right. It's always a question, the future, if you like how much money you have to like be able to make what you love to do. And this is like the most important thing for me. Like if I have money, it's for time, for buying myself time until I maybe have to work on something that I don't like so much. But so it's always a struggle between like this, doing what you love and actually make a living.
Maybe you can characterize your process of going into a project, especially with your film. When we saw it, there were certain scenes or actions then that for us came out of nowhere, and we're wondering, well, when did this come about? Because you're drawing it, so there must be a lot of thought behind it. Do you go into it and say, this is my story I want to tell, and I draw and animate and direct, my drawings in a way that I want the story to be told? Or do you just go into it more freely, with more freedom, and say, well, let's see where this takes me?
Yeah, it's definitely like a thing that I go in more freely. That especially in the development part, in the beginning, in the first like few months, and in this case it was like a longer process because we also wanted to get like collect money that I could work with some people that I really wanted to work with. So it took some time, and that was about a 7 to 8 months period until I really had the film ready for production. So for involving people, so actually make a Bible for the film. So, but that was the end of the process. In the beginning, I like to be alone and really be free on the process and be able to redo stuff or go back to the beginning and jump back and forth. So it's like so that the whole thing can evolve in like a natural, intuitive way, and it's kind of like doodles and drawings, and once you get into a topic, like I did with love, and I knew the atmosphere and I knew the universe after a while, I knew, okay, this is gonna be the planet, these are the rules of this planet, and then you can like slowly evolve from this. And like details are always a very important thing for me. So I actually started this film with drawing on Post-its. I had this little thing that I just drew, maybe like a little situation, but a Post-it is very like you can't really do much.
It's limited.
It's very limited,
yeah.
yes, but it's a great thing to limit yourself maybe in the beginning, and then see what you are actually interested in, and see what you actually can love, what characters or what forms or whatever.
I was just thinking that I'm sure had you done the entire film on Post-its, it would still be a great film. There still would be a story because you focused on the story. It wasn't about making like the greatest animation.
I think focus is always really like a key thing but I mean in animation you really have to have that. Like you can't edit over and over again, and you don't have that kind of freedom that you have in live action. You have to be like the picture lock is very early, and you know already how the film is gonna look in the rhythm, and you just have to imagine every picture in the final design style, of course, because the animatic, this like moving script or like a very sketchy version of the film is very hard to imagine in the final form, especially in a film like Love. It's very much a film that you can enjoy, I think, if it's ready. Like the amount of detail that is in the design and in the movement as well. Like little things are always like, okay, like 1 or 2 frames can like break or make a little shot. So I think it was very hard with this movie to pitch it also to this like production companies and make them believe that this is going to work if it's ready. At just you try to like make the most final design visual work, and then also make the animatic as much detailed as just possible. But maybe if I wouldn't have so many like production companies involved, then I wouldn't have made such a detailed animatic, because it was in my head. But I had to sell it to other people so that I can get support.
Would you do your film still the same way, even if you knew, well, no one's going to see them, but I love it so much? I'm not doing it for myself, but
yes.
How do you see that connection to the audience?
I definitely would do it for myself. I have a lot of fun while I'm doing it. It's like if I basically can live and animate or like make these things, draw these movies, that's the best part of it, basically. Those 4 months of production, that intense production that we had when we were 4 people mainly, and then a few others involved here and there. But like this time with these 3 animators was really nice and very such a good experience and a lot of fun. And so for me, when we wrapped up the film end of November, and the sound and everything, I was already saying like, okay, this was so nice, the whole process. So if it doesn't get selected to Berlin, of course it's like a little disappointing because it's so much work, and I would lie if I would say that I wouldn't care at all. But it was definitely like a feeling of that I am okay with whatever, because it was great, and we made it, and that's it. But if it gets a good like if people recognize it as well, and if people can, get something out of it for them, I'm like very, very happy if that happens, because that means that I can have my fun part, and also like I can give something. That's the perfect combination, of course. But the most important thing is to have fun for myself, because otherwise, also, I think you could never make a good movie if it smells like sweat. If you don't like to do it, it's. So it's always very, and I think many filmmakers actually go into this because they kind of think that if they talk about maybe something very important, they will get more recognition, but I can feel a sense on the film that they are actually not really interested in that topic, and that makes it very heavy and not relatable for the people.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like you see a formula, being followed. I mean, I think we even had a comment where the filmmakers said, well, you have different projects and for different festivals, for different audiences, which is sometimes true. I mean, experimental film has a very limited audience. At the same time, I think it should always be about the focus, right? And about where do you start? I mean, it shouldn't be with what equipment am I using, like many people do, or what is my audience going to be?
I think it's also about recognizing your own skill set, like learning what you are best at and not forcing yourself into something that you can't actually do very well. And I think I'm still learning that, like from myself as well. Now that I have 2 films, I know way more what I can do in my skill set, and it's like I know that I'm not like good at everything. Like I love to also include people and work with them and then work out together something, let's say. But yeah, if I just focus on the original ideas or directing or what I do alone, I know now more what I can do and what I can't. And maybe there is something I would love to do because I think it could have a big audience, but I don't want to do it. And I think in animation it's easier to avoid this kind of problem because you can't make something a whole year through. Maybe you can shoot something in 2 days. That's not really you, but it's something you think would mean something more for an audience. But in animation you have to do it for a whole year, and you can't be really committed to something for that long that you don't actually like. You will kind of break in the process, I think.
And then still, I mean, is there any level of how you measure your success or your achievement? I mean,
I still think this like award question. It's for sure at Berlinale. I think it's not really about the award as much as I know from my previous film. I think it was more just to be here and get to know people, and that was also what helped me to make my new film. But that's also like awards are important in a way because you get that's support basically, and I had the opportunity to make a new film out of awards, basically. Right. Like I was developing the film for a long time, and I was living on the other film's life, from the other film's life, and so that's a really, really nice gesture if you think about it. Like some people are like, hey, I can see something in your work that might be interesting in the future as well. So here is some support that you can use in any way. It doesn't have to be money, but just recognition. And then people start to talk about it. So I think if you want to actually do something for fun and for yourself, you also have to get recognition, because you can't do that otherwise. Because you will have to take jobs that you will. I mean, I have to pay my bills, so it's you know, you just really have to look how you can balance that, and whether it is with jobs, and then you can do your love work like in the remaining time, or get enough recognition if you are lucky, because that's also, you know, you never know how they react. So it's a chance game. Yeah, it's fun, but it's also very like I also feel that it's, what if I don't, like, I mess up something and then I will not be able to do, because people will not trust me anymore. You know, it's a
tightrope.
Yeah.
What's the best advice that you have got, maybe from a mentor, maybe from something that you trust, you know, about your work, you know?
Let's say I know some filmmakers who I know personally, and they are very entertaining, funny people, and I hang out with them because I think they are very nice, and I mean funny. Like there is they have a skill, and in film they make serious drama, and I never get it why they don't use their natural personal skill to make people laugh in their work. And so focus on yourself as well, like a person, and then
know yourself.
Realize that you are not good at saying everything. You have to choose, and you know, you have to have a serious focus, and that's all of, if you have a focus on yourself, I think you can also project that on your work, and then it's gonna come across. I kind of believe in that. That you
100%.
You if you're completely honest and you don't try to do something, it's really hard. I also know that I sometimes go into this where I try to do something that I maybe know in the back of my head that, okay, but that's not really the best thing that you can do. It's really hard to resist two different things. Yeah, but I always feel like I can see if there is a filmmaker who is just out there in his work, and it's not my thing exactly, but it's so honest, so I can't say anything. That's what it needs to be.
Right.
Yeah.